Is school really worth it? Think this to yourself for a bit, because I have my own personal opinion on this. Hey, I'm 14 and currently living in the UK. I am in year 10, but I have already experienced some downsides of school and realized why most people drop out of school so early. School isn't for everyone, especially me. I say this because I try my best in almost every subject possible. But the thing is, I don't understand what the teachers are talking about. The information they are giving to me is pointless in the real world. So I just think to myself, why bother? Sometimes I get so much stressed because my parents want me to become rich and successful person in future. But the thing is, they have the mindset that school's education is going to make me achieve almost everything, which that's not the case. My parents want me to have a very good grades about grade 9s, grade 8s, and grade 7s. But the thing is, unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen to me because I have already realized that having grade 9s, grade 8s, or just having very good grades in general, it isn't going to make me financially free. It isn't going to make me rich. It isn't going to make me a successful person in future. And it isn't going to make me own multiple businesses that I run. So just think to yourself, is it worth it getting very good grades in future? If you choose the school's path, what is your future going to look like? So let's break this down step by step. Firstly, you will have to do exams in school. And let's say in those exams you did very good, you got very good grades. And after when school finishes, then you might want to go to college or sixth form. It's based on your opinion. While you are working in college or in sixth form, you still have to study and do lots of other exams. And let's say in those exams you did very good as well. You got very good grades and your parents are really proud of you. Then after college and sixth form, when you get your qualifications, then you might want to straight go to university or straight jump into work, just earn money. And then you might want to go to apprenticeship, which I personally think is a very smart move if you're choosing the school's path. After, when you finish your education, you will have to look for a high paying job. And then when you look for a high paying job, you have to go through lots of interviews. Now let's say you're going through an interview. The interviewer will ask you for your CV and the level of education that you have reached. By the way, this is where it all begins or it all ends. If they say you are suitable for this job, then congratulations. But now you are working for someone else, trading your time for money. And trust me when I say this, but after a few years' time, you will realize that your salary, it isn't enough. And you will start blaming your boss for not paying you enough. And you'll be stuck in a cycle. You wake up, go to work, come home, eat and sleep. And then the next day, you repeat the same process again. And this is exactly the most adult life is like. And half of your earnings goes to taxes. And if school taught financial literature, then most of the people would break out of this cycle. But they don't. In the other hand, if they say you are not suitable for this job, then what are you going to do? Just think this to yourself for a bit. Maybe look for another job? But how long are you keep going to search for a different job every time they reject you? At last, school's education can become useful for some people. But the thing is, some of the useful information that is taught in school is actually useful in the real world. But the rest of the information that school shares to us is worthless in the real world. It's completely useless. And that is the main idea that I was trying to explain to my parents, but they don't really care. They still have the mindset that school's education is going to make me a rich, happy, successful person in the future. They still think if I learn from school, it's going to make me a great, better person in the future and have a very high paying job. But no. One time I was sitting in my classroom in science and we were studying about extractions of metal. Then, while I was minding my own business doing my own work, I thought to myself, where will I ever need this in real life? And I thought, how will this information become useful to me? And I tried to think of any possible answer that I could think that could become useful in the future. I couldn't think of any answer because the thing we're learning, for me, it isn't important because I don't want to become a scientist or a teacher. Because the thing is, I am not interested in becoming a scientist or a teacher. I am personally interested in becoming an entrepreneur, owning multi-businesses. I just want to be financially free. And those are the type of things school don't teach. So I just thought to myself, why bother? My dad always says that do it to use it, not to waste it. And this exactly links to basically most of the subjects that the teachers teach us is they are gathering information that's useless into our head, which it isn't going to be useful in the real world. We are doing it, but we are not using it. And in fact, that information, we are wasting it. So just think to yourself, is it really worth it? But school can be useful for lots of other people who wants to become doctors, engineers, or pilots, because I personally think only about this amount of information is really useful for becoming doctors, engineers, or pilots. But this much information is completely useless. It's just bullshit at this point because it's completely useless, but we are forced to learn that kind of stuff, but we never will use that in our real jobs. At the end of the day, I believe that school can be helpful for lots of other people depending on what sector they want to go in. Example, if lots of people want to become doctors, engineers, or pilots, then school is for them because they need to get some information about those kind of categories they want to go in, and those are the topics that school can teach. But the school cannot teach is like entrepreneurship, businessman, financial literacy. They don't teach about those kind of stuff in school, and that is the only sector that I am interested in. Lots of other people say do it what you're interested in. I'm not interested in about school stuff because I am interested in entrepreneurship, and that's the only thing they don't teach in school. I believe that learning about money, businesses, and about the real world skills are just as important as school. But while most millions and billions of the other children are learning from school, but I personally just believe that learning about money, businesses, and about the real world is just as important as school. What do you guys think? Is school really worth it? It's up to you. Basically, I just shared my opinion, and if my opinion kind of relates to you guys, then that would be easier for you guys because I just gave you like my personal opinion, and that could relate to you guys as well. And then if there are lots of other people who wants to become entrepreneurs, businessmen, and want to be financially free, but to do that you need to work for it. Firstly, you need to have discipline, and school can be useful for those kind of stuff. Example, school teaches you about time management, school teaches you about discipline, and these are the two key things that you need to become rich and successful. If you don't have these kind of two things, then I don't think you will become successful, because time management and discipline, those are the big two things you need to know, and that's what school teaches you about, which I personally kind of like. Well, this was my personal opinion, and if you have any ideas or any questions about this, drop them in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.